Alright, you know what time it is. It's Bad Influence time! What are we up to? Episode number 5, 26th of November 1992. God, time is flying. We'll be into the Christmas episode soon. I might have to space these out a bit so we can time it correctly. Anyway, I've run out of tea bags, so I'm on Earl Grey tea now. Hot. With sugar.
Check it out, MC Crane. Kick it one time. I'm sorry, we will have some proper music on the programme this week from Brooklyn.
Oh, we've got some 90s beats. Andy looking a bit stupid with his Amiga 600.
How to turn one bad influence presenter into
the Morphing episode, I remember this episode.
And our main game
always stuck in my mind because Michael Jackson's Black or White was around at the time, and that used morphing heavily in the video.
Oh, Violet!
Yeah?
The freewheel.
What? Oops, getting a bit carried away here with this, the new Nigel Mansell freewheel.
Yes, I've got one of those. I will review it.
Instead of a joystick, and it's just attached by a thin wire.
It doesn't seem to be doing much, does it, on screen? It doesn't seem to correlate to the actions on screen.
Actually recommends using the freewheel for extra realism. When I steer,
it's like an early Wii U controller.
The steering wheel on screen moving exactly the same way as me.
Kind of.
Use these two buttons to slow up and speed up. As well as that, you can choose to do manual gears. And you change the gears then by sort of flicking the wheel backwards and forwards, which is really difficult to do.
The most user-friendly control method, is it? I've got one of those, and I've got the quick shot pedals as well for the true 90s driving experience.
Game review this week is Super Mario Land 2 on the Game Boy, the biggest and hottest Game Boy.
Andy, I'm liking your cap. You are in the groove.
For our hero, all the creatures in Mario Land have been turned against him by the evil Wario. To the rescue, here comes
Wario or Wario? However you like to say it, I guess.
It's a great little adventure. The thing I like about it is the enhanced graphics. It's a lot better than the original one.
I wonder how they used to capture Game Boy
from here,
footage before the Super Game Boy Super Nintendo add-on was created.
There's lots to do on this level. The main objective of this level is to get into his bubble. I've just lost
the Game Boy graphics are just so crisp, aren't they?
Away.
I saw
there's three main types of
hard driving on the Game Boy earlier, after watching Steve Benway's Spectrum video, and
which means you can fire things.
It's amazing what this little thing can do. It's called race driving on the Game Boy, but
fly around the levels.
It's just amazing. The Game Boy had some hardware
now, and I'm firing, and I can shoot
functionality over the Spectrum. It had some like hardware sprites and stuff like that, which the Spectrum didn't. So it freed up some Z80 processor time to allow for more complex operations.
You can save the game, which means you can start wherever you like. I buy this game. It's the fastest and best game.
$29.99.
My only criticism is it's a little bit easy, and I did get to the last level.
To be honest,
this is really fresh and fun.
It's kind of what I'd want from a portable game. Simple. You know, nothing too hardcore.
3D screen. It's got some good puzzles, but the scrolling could be smoother.
Does it say Blogs on his t-shirt? Oh, he's got a Joe Blogs top on. Do you remember Joe Blogs?
Super Mario Land 2.
I used to have a pair of like bright blue jogs. Joe Blogs jeans.
We're getting a lot of letters to the Bad Influence office at the moment, which is great. Thanks, keep coming in. It's nice to hear what you have to say.
Lies.
We're getting a lot like this one. This is from Jenny Smith, who lives at King Edward Avenue, Hastings in East Sussex. Hi, Jen. She says, Dear Andy and Violet, I'm getting fed up of watching computer shows that don't even mention my computer. And I know you've got an Atari ST.
Yeah, too right. That's exactly what I used to think.
Studio, and if you're an ST owner, look out for some software reviews for you in later programs.
I didn't even have an ST at this point. I had a Commodore 64. How do you think I felt?
Well suited to music.
And a Master System.
The sound of the rhythm coming through ya. Check the controls as it start to swing. Sound so.
Oh, I love 90s dance.
Thing in the place on the dance. And here it is. Can't you see? It can never be a bad influence on me.
Sure, it was sweet. These guys.
Whenever Bad Influence talked about Atari STs, they always featured it in a music segment because that was all they could apparently think of what to do with the ST hardware.
No, we got the name from...
Which was... I suppose they were trying to stay relevant and current.
It actually means good, so it's good influence and not bad influence.
Well, we like the title, though.
Music producers still use the ST today.
I don't think so.
I think you can just get off now. Thank you very much.
So, this was current.
Kevin's in the band, too.
Hi.
He plays the keyboard and he also produces the music. And I was saying the Atari is well suited to music. How and why, Kev?
Well, it certainly is, because it's the only computer with MIDI
Kevin Barry, 2 first names for a first and surname. Good work.
interface.
And what does that do?
Well, that means that with
It's Big Bad Barry.
sequencing package such as this one
Yeah.
and this computer, I can talk to all these keyboards and tell them what to do from here.
All right, show us how it works then.
Right. Okay. Well, I put some kick drums in.
You put them in.
Atari High Res Mode.
What I can do then?
I used to have an emulator that ran Atari High Res Mode on a normal screen. It wasn't the prettiest thing in the world, but it did allow me to use programs like this, which I used to hook up to my dad's keyboard, which had MIDI functionality.
Great kit.
Fair enough, yeah, but it needs a bit of melody to make it a bit more interesting,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
So
But I didn't have a hard disk, so I couldn't really do much with what I recorded.
Put that organ in already.
You can't fit
Do you always use the mouse to put the...
a massive amount
no.
on a floppy disk.
What I'll do now is record Mark on that keyboard.
So you can actually play live in as well.
So
Oh, you idiots.
It's a bit of a duff note there.
Bummed it out.
Again.
no, that's
Oh, there's the
wrong
duff
note.
one.
Yeah, and I can change that.
Oh, good job, you've got an Atari ST.
Well, and presumably, in the same way as you reproduce the drum notes, you can reproduce that bar and
I can.
put it all the way through.
Yep.
But when it's all finished, what does it sound like?
Well, it's getting there. It sounds like
It
this.
was brilliant adding MIDI onto the Atari ST. Genius, back in 1985.
And it's corrected as well, so we didn't have the duff note in there, which
The
is...
Amiga kind of took up the
the
graphics
all for you.
No, it doesn't, because this.
world, didn't it? It started, people used it to make Babylon 5 and like video and like 3D effects. And the Atari ST kind of dominated the music scene. They kind of fitted into their own niches.
Visit.
No.
Thank you for showing it to me. I may go away and record my own single on it shortly.
Right.
In fact, that's a competition prize if you fancy winning yourself a chance to go, all expenses paid.
Games are where the money's at. And the Amiga won it on games because it had the graphics. The Atari ST didn't have the music in games because its built-in music chip based on the Yamaha AY was poor.
Is listen to 5 clips of music we'll play to you at the end of the programme. They're from games. Identify the games, write them on a postcard or a stuck-down envelope and send them to us at our usual Bad Influence address. There is, in fact, a short version of the single Bad Influence by Brooklyn on the cassette single that comes...
Right, said Fred. Awesome. I'm too sexy for my shirt.
Chops by next week.
Too sexy for my shirt. I don't know what song I'm singing.
Like I said, here it is, a fresh new dawn, designed in a line to keep you moving on and on to a new dimension, a brand new state where love.
This is a cheap
Alright, Nam.
premiere.
I've seen that keyboard somewhere recently.
This'll give you
Maybe a car boot sale.
He's Namrud saying it ain't no jives.
He's loving the Amiga 600 recently, isn't he? He's had that on the last 3 shows, I think.
And B. Now I know all the pokes, peaks and bugs, so in this game type in spark plugs. The screen now flashes and it's a cert. You beat the game and you won't get...
He didn't type in spark plugs, he pressed a key.
Put me hair in curlers, so on your way, slimy furtlers.
Rapper Nam the
He must have typed in the first letters and then just pressed G. Cunning.
computer. This one's called Boombox. It lets you put down sounds to make your own dance track.
Now we've got some Amiga music programs.
Go into jam mode.
Of course, this is using the Amiga's hardware, custom hardware chips, which produced awesome sounds.
Got a new tune there. Change the bass.
It sounds like Streets of Rage music.
Drums. Got a new track, and you can also
I love the Streets of Rage music. I
sounds in like this.
love the Mega Drive's music.
Available for the Amiga and PC and costs around 40 quid. Well, I think that's quite enough of that.
Very grungy.
Thanks, Andy. Now for this week's news and previews.
Cool.
No, this isn't Crime Watch, but pay attention, floppy disk users. Last week, police...
Crime Watch. I used to watch that religiously, along with police camera action.
And 5 men were arrested.
He's crashed, he's crashed, he's crashed.
Under the Copyright Act. A blank disc costs under £1.
Oh, here we go.
And a disc with a game on it could cost about £30.
They love banging on about copyright. I don't know if they were paid by the government or someone to...
Or anything. The simple message is, don't do it. It's just as illegal to copy one game as it is to copy
The
thousands.
thing is, that's not going to stop anyone, is it? Because it's also far cheaper to copy one game.
Strider 2. It's a sequel to the
I mean, you shouldn't do it, obviously.
on the Mega Drive Master
But
System and
we all did, didn't we?
Strider must use his plasma sword and new lethal shuriken to overcome an array of fiendish enemies such as mutant soldiers and hostile plants to get the weed killer ready.
I used to love copying tapes on the Spectrum.
After all the hype, 2 days ago it was
High-speed dubbing.
Sonic Tuesday.
Yay, Sonic Tuesday. Last week, remember?
Sonic Tuesday became Sonic Friday because some retailers
delay.
5 days before.
Oh, it was released early.
Which rather made a mockery of the fantastically crafted international worldwide simultaneous launch of the mammal, didn't it?
All right, Nam, again, we've just seen you.
Spiky! Oh, I'm just looking for my hedgehog. I think he's been eaten by something that disagreed with it.
I have a sip of Earl Grey tea.
Anyway, here's a cheat for the Addams family on the SNES. Simply type in BLRZZ.
Nice, refreshing.
6 extra lives and 5 hearts. So, that's big. Ah! And the rest of your family will be saved! Spiky!
And now for something completely different.
I'm sorry, I'll say that again. And now for somebody.
I think Violet Berlin was at the Centre for Computing History recently. I think they were doing some sort of night. I think Ashton's was there.
And this is the mill, where some
I'm sure I saw a clip of her talking there.
created for adverts and TV. The mill is famous for morphing, short for metamorphosis.
Wow, look at that,
From one thing into another. All these morphs were done at the mill.
Amazingly cool back then. Cutting edge technology.
They gave us a
Almost.
role in our own morph sequence. In charge is producer Andy Balmer.
Okay, Andy, so we're going to morph you through to Violet. And in order to help the transition, we need some action to give it a bit more oomph.
Have to fit the same expressions together.
Well, it does, yeah, because when you need really to line up roughly so that you don't, otherwise, I mean, if your eyes weren't in the right place, approximately, yeah, your eyes are going to have to somehow move across.
She can't move her eyeballs apart.
Do this, so. At the end, you maybe sort of acknowledge the fact that you've transformed.
Become normal again.
So a bit of a...
Yeah.
Right, let's do it. Let's go for it.
To make the morph simple, it's important to put the two faces in the same place on the screen. Though there's a high-tech...
Advanced technology, drawing on the screen with marker pen.
Completely different.
No, Andy, that's not going to work, is it? You're moving your head too much.
time. They shoot against a blue screen, so they can put in a different background later.
Good.
Next, it's my turn.
I mean, we can resize it.
Your hair's sticking up a little bit.
Pre-rolling.
I'm sorry, I'll say that again. And now for somebody completely different.
Very good.
That's a nice smile there, Violet.
Say she was very good and she's only done 2 and you made me do 5, man. And what is this? There's a deal going down.
Yes, because you're shit, Andy.
Graphic designer Gavin Blair explains what happens next.
In order for the machine to morph, you need to break down the pictures into areas. So you do that using this grid.
It's fascinated me, this sort of
So like there, I've enclosed an
stuff.
area
Just the technology, how you did it, how you moved all these wireframes about.
points
So different contours.
here to enclose your eyebrow now. So the machine's changing one eyebrow now into another one. It's like the face is on rubber and you're just pulling the mesh and it's like stretching the face. You have to track everything that moves.
It's like the Lawnmower Man or something. Which was a very good game on the Super Nintendo.
And it as the sequence progressed.
Not too sure about the film, but the game, especially the 3D part, was spot on.
You have to rotoscope.
Got some video breakup at the
Go
bottom.
through the sequence. Each
Oh dear, the tracking is a bit off.
match the grid to the same points for the whole sequence. So there's a grid.
I wonder what computers this is done on. Is this done on Power PC? Too early for the Power PC?
See where the hair matches and the eyes match. And as it goes through the sequence,
Interesting.
it transforms into the outline of you over there. So you can see the different hair and the different eyes. So that's a preview of what the morph will do.
Where's Zero? Is he not in this episode? Have they abandoned Z in favour of doing some metamorphosis?
I can get the machine to show me Andy as you. There you go. That's
Scary. Jesus Christ.
distorted to fit yours. Okay, so what I'm doing now is getting the machine to show me what you will look like distorted to fit Andy's face.
God.
So there you are.
like something out of Middle Earth.
Again, in slow motion. You just can't see the join.
Computer technology, don't you love it?
Change of image. I'll know where to come.
I didn't know to work. There is software around that lets you get effects.
The back would be Amiga 600. This is
Let's semi-morph away.
basically sponsored by Amiga, isn't it?
Shape. If you can.
Hippopotamus.
Oh, what?
The hippopotamus.
No, it's not a hippopotamus.
Elephant.
It's not an elephant. The shape's changing, a bit more colour
you?
coming in now. No, it's not me.
On a good day?
No, nor is it you on a bad day, Violet.
I know, it's a Humanosaur.
Yes, but which one?
It's Brad.
No,
Well, look at that.
our own Brad the Humanosaur. You see how he went through
Some
different
sort of
stages?
crude metamorphosis process
Changed his shape,
using Deluxe
and now he
Paint.
got larger and larger and became more like the Brad we know and love. More colour was in there as well.
Deluxe Paint was a great
You can
program.
actually paint with him as well, look.
Wow, that is quite impressive,
Whiz all over
actually.
the screen. Which came first? The dinosaur or the egg? Now some more games review.
Right, what have we got?
Welcome to the human race. Humans on the Amiga.
Humans!
In charge of a tribe of little cavemen who need to puzzle their way through the evolution of mankind.
Very similar, well, I say similar to Lemmings. It had puzzle elements and platform elements, but you could control the characters, couldn't you?
Challenge. I've just discovered the spear, and now I've got to get the rest of my men.
I always wanted this game, never a game. I've never played it. Never played this.
Because they move so slowly.
That's the thing, isn't it? I always want to play games which I wanted when I was younger, but never got the chance.
You've got to rescue a little man trapped on the top of the hill.
It's like that desire, that want for the game never disappeared.
You can only
It's like a
control
deep,
one at a time and
deep
move
craving
slowly.
or in the soul.
Yeah, so that I can come back for it later, because I can't.
Maybe that's a bit
hold
extreme.
both on the same
But
time.
you know what I mean.
This is on the wheel so that I don't lose so much time. I love the graphics. I feel there's a real.
It just feels like there was much more innovation
There's some things that can kill you in
at
this,
this time.
like dinosaurs, and
I guess that's not something we've lost. If you look on Steam nowadays, there's so many games. It's
problem. But this is okay because you're
hard to find ones which are unique. I mean, you could just search through the Steam library all day, and you'd find loads of great-looking games and great games. But back then, there was a limited selection of games coming out on a regular basis, and you saw them on review shows and in magazines, and that's all you had. And you picked which ones you liked, the look of the most, and that's what you spent your money on, or got for Christmas or whatever.
Too slowly. It's got lovely graphics and music though.
I guess that's why these reviews and magazine reviews were so important back then, because
And the girls liked it too. 4 out of 5.
limited money, you know, you wanted to make sure you got a game which was good, unless you rented it from Ritz or
film, but in fact, this is just a reworking of the classic Amiga game Turrican.
Turrican.
Here's the interplayer.
Wow, that is such a good Commodore game and Amiga game.
Original in the game play,
Universal Soldier on the Mega Drive.
and it's an easy game to play.
Seems like a good fit. Again, see, this is not a game I've never played,
Complex, and you very rarely run out of energy.
but it does look highly Turrican-y, which is never a bad thing.
Really, he's very nasty to you. I've used my mega weapon to.
I love massive boss sprites. So imposing.
You can only use this weapon once per life, so you can't go around annihilating everything with it.
Jump out of his way, man.
To be honest, this isn't normally my sort of game, so I would think about buying it because I don't.
That is so blatantly Turrican. It's not even, they haven't even changed it really, have they? That is just Turrican.
I've seen it all before years ago. The effects are good, but there's nothing new here, and some of the levels are a bit too long.
It doesn't matter, it's a great
It annoys
game.
me when they bring out an old game under a new title. This one just cashes in on the name of the film.
And the scores for Universal Soldier, the boys gave it 3 out of 5.
It's still a great game.
And the girls also gave it 3 out of 5.
Don't blast it because it's cashing in, or, you know, just base it on its gameplay, man.
Well, that's about it for this week, except for the competition. Last week's competition was to win a Mega Drive, a brace of Sonics, and a Bad Influence t-shirt.
Oh yeah. Check that t-shirt out.
Entries. The question was, what is the name of the hedgehog in the Beatrix Potter stories? And the answer was, of course, Mrs. Tiggywinkle. And the first answer, correct answer, thrown out of the Bad Influence waste paper basket, was from Leanne Macmillan from Strathclyde in Scotland. Well done.
If you'd like to win that weekend recording your own single with Brooklyn, stand by. The 5 clips of music you got to identify are coming up over the database.
Yes, I would.
We're back next week with more Bad Influence, or join me 9:25 Saturday morning for What's Up Doc. Take care. Bye-bye.
See you later.
Here comes the competition music to identify.
Okay.
1,
Street Fighter 2,
2,
Mario,
3,
Sonic,
4,
Tetris.
And 5.
Lemmings. Okay, thanks for watching this episode. I'll see you next time.